Special times. It's Brit Hume's first time for Outnumbered Overtime. OT, baby! I didn't want to scare him, so I geared back. Because it can get kind of crazy. Your first day, we rolled out the pre-sale of Andrea's book.
Thank you, Harris.
Your thoughts. Can you just tell us what happened? Our ombudsman. How did we get it right? How did we get it wrong?
What, you mean the show?
Yeah, how did we do for an hour?
I thought it was just riveting television. Every minute of it.
We love you.
The insights were blinding. The company was unbelievable.
Oh.
You had this guest who needed a little help, and you carried me through the hour.
Who was that?
That would be me.
No!
Never.
Well, you're kind to say
Never
that.
in the history, as long as we've known you, have you ever said what you said in the A block, which was, I don't know what the hell's going on. You always have the best insight, and you're stumped.
Oh, I think everybody is to some extent, because I must say this. One of the beauties of Twitter is that Twitter is a wonderful early warning system. I mean, if you're on the air and you post stuff and you collect followers, and I have, by Donald Trump standards is a tiny little number of followers, but it's a cross section of people. And I could tell from my Twitter feed going back a couple of cycles about the level of disaffection with the Republicans in Washington.
Yeah.
It was coming through from many directions. It was very clear to me that there was a set of potential Republican voters, or actual Republican voters, who were much angrier at the Republican leaders in Washington than they were at Barack Obama. And they had a lot of ideas about what Republicans had done and not done, some of which were, in my opinion, misguided, but nonetheless, there it was. So I had a feel for the level of disaffection. And I never, for example, thought that Jeb Bush looked like he was guaranteed to be a front runner or a shoe-in or anything of the kind, because I could sense that just from what I heard on Twitter. It's a great early warning system for a journalist. But, the idea that Donald Trump would be the person who benefited from that, I didn't see that.
Do you think it has been to the detriment of those Republicans who now don't want to see him get the nomination, that they underestimated him so early on?
Well, it's getting a little late, isn't it, to try to take him on? I mean, Super Tuesday, my guess is the other candidates will survive Super Tuesday because the delegates are allotted on a proportional basis. So he'll come out with a much enlarged delegate lead, but he won't, somebody was saying that he'll be over the top. No, he won't be over the top. But when you get past that to Ohio and Florida, home states of two of his competitors, I don't know that Marco Rubio has a good chance to win Florida. And if he doesn't, I don't know what his rationale for his candidacy is. He hasn't won anywhere. I don't know
is he going to win anything tomorrow? I mean, I guess that's my biggest question going into Super Tuesday. You look at some of these moderate states like Colorado, Massachusetts.
I don't know that there's a state that he'll win, but he doesn't yet have to.
Yeah.
But when you get past these states with proportional delegate allotment, you got to win.
Yeah, winner take all.
And you can't just coast along in second place, because it's different in the Democratic Party, because they have this big swatch of super delegates who can, if you're...
Do you think the Republicans maybe will switch
to
that
system? Maybe, but they got about, I think, 168 non-committed delegates to come to the convention. It's got to be awfully close for that to make any difference. And it doesn't look like it's going to be.
The live chat is ablaze right now because you're here. I'm not kidding.
Blaze?
Yes. Half Dome 727 writes, and I don't think that's his real name. Which candidate do you think should drop out next? It's interesting. You see the reports, Britt, of Mitch McConnell and some others through that New York Times report calling for John Kasich to pull out of the race because they want people to coalesce behind the anti-Trump candidate. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, think about it this way.
What's coming?
Which of the remaining candidates has a national campaign and has tried to mount a national campaign? John Kasich has not. Now, he's got a lot of strong points, and I've known him for a long time, and I've always admired and liked him. But basically what he did is he moved to New Hampshire and ran for president of New Hampshire and won the New Hampshire primary. Now, there's a catapult theory that if you win one of the early states, you can turn that into a national campaign just on the strength of the buzz you get out of winning. He hasn't done that. He went to South Carolina and did nothing. He did nothing in Nevada. He has Ohio coming up where he's the governor and he's popular, but he really doesn't have a national campaign. But he's having a good time and he's sounding off and he likes to do that.
Is he running for vice president?
I think he's, at the moment, I don't think it's as clear as that. I mean,
Britt, people are pretty upset with him for not dropping out of this race.
A lot of people
they
are.
believe that if Kasich were to get out of this race, and if Carson were to get out of this race, and everyone would just get out of this race, that they could defeat Trump.
Right. Well, theoretically, that's possible. But the big lump in that in that scenario is, what do you do about Cruz? Cruz is now, it seems to me, has slid into kind of a third-place position. Yeah. He may win Texas, which would be expected normally, but he doesn't look like he has any momentum. And I think his personality is such that a lot of people react negatively to him. But he's got a hard core of conservative backers that like the fact that he's a true blue conservative.
Yeah.
And so as long as he's in the race, splitting the non-Trump vote with Marco Rubio, it seems to me that really helps Trump.
No, that's absolutely right. I mean, and I've been saying that for a while. Like, one of them has to get out of the race.
Yeah, well, all of them,
Carson,
but one have to get out.
Carson and Kasich, obviously, Super Tuesday's not going to go well for Ben Carson. Right. I predict, I'm no Miss Cleo, but I do think he's going to get out of the race. I think he's going to get absolutely stomped. But, Cruz has to look at Rubio. He looks at Rubio and says, if he gets out, his votes go to me. If I get out, my votes go to Trump.
Well, some of that's true. I mean, it's a fantasy to think that when everybody else drops out, that all their support will go to another non-Trump candidate.
Yeah. Right.
A bunch of it will go to Trump.
Yeah.
And if he's at 49% nationally, as that poll claims, I have my doubts about that poll, but as that poll claims, then even then it's hopeless.
But all that stuff that I call diet math now has just been ridiculous. I mean, when they talk about if everybody gets out, it's Trump and no Trump, and so all those votes go together. No, I mean that's ridiculous. There was also the theory about Trump has a ceiling; he can't get above 30%. He's proven that to be not true. I mean, it's kind of like
he proved it in one state.
In one state
with a tiny little turnout. I mean, that was a caucus state.
Okay, but it's this resist. It's kind of like at what point, by resisting it, are you giving it more power and strength?
Well, I don't. Look, they've tried not taking him on. That didn't work. So now they're taking him on. That may not work either, but it's crazy to keep doing what they were doing.
Yeah,
for the candidates, but I wonder about the establishment and everybody on the sidelines that's trying to kill him. I'll let you go.
Yeah, what establishment?
Well, actually, that's kind of a trend on the live chat right now, so I want to follow up with you on that. Deb Meings, hi, Britt.
Hi.
Why does the Republican establishment continue to eat its own young? Don't they understand that they are increasing the probability that Hillary becomes president? Are they so power hungry that they do not understand or do not care? That's one, and I'm going to fold in this because I said a trend. Forum writes, please convince me the difference whether Trump or Clinton ends up in the White House. Maybe some of that goes together.
Well, that's unpredictable. But let me say this about why they're, quote, eating their young, right? For this reason. Gallup did a look at its polling on favorables and unfavorables for the candidates. Donald Trump, among Democrats, and Democrats will have a say in the general election, folks, is minus 70%. 70%. Independents, his net unfavorables are minus 27. Right? You carry that into a general election, you're dead. He's plus 24 with Republicans, which suggests that even among Republicans there's some resistance to him, and we all know that. But that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid the guy is a sure, guaranteed general election loser. And that, if a big landslide comes, Hillary Clinton gets elected, the Supreme Court goes wherever she wants to take it, the Senate is gone because if the down ballot candidates are not going to do well in a landslide, and it's tough for them in the Senate anyway, they could even lose the House. That's what they're afraid of, and that's why they think this guy has to be stopped. Yeah, they disagree with him on a lot of things, and they think he's an oaf, but they also think he can't be elected.
Wow. Scribble646. Cruz will win Texas and Arkansas. Those are the places where he has got a bigger lead in Texas than Arkansas. Slim one there. Texas is 3 times the size of other states, 3 times the delegates. All states are not created equal. And then, of course, in all caps, Scribbles, are you from Texas? Everything is bigger in Texas, even the delegate count.
Yeah, but look, there's proportional representation, so while he may get the bulk of the delegates, Cruz, he won't get all of them.
Not unless he gets over 50%, and he's not going to get over 50%.
For goodness sake. It's his home state. If he can't win that, then he's out of the race, it seems to me, which I think applies just as well to Marco Rubio 2 weeks from now in Florida. He doesn't win Florida, and he's way behind there.
Yeah,
in whatever polling we have. I think he's out. So that's why people now are thinking, oh, my God, this is about to be over in the next 2 weeks. Not Not tomorrow night, but going forward a couple of weeks.
Interesting. It's been great to have you.
That's my pleasure.
Will you
Thank
come
you.
back?
I'd love to.
I think we'd love to.
I'd love to. I don't get here
You were
very much
great.
anymore because the city's too big and I'm too old. But
What? Just stop with that. You're old.
Come on now.
Cut it out. Don't make us fight you.
And Britt, let me just
youngin'?
thank you for interrupting your vacation because we know you're in Florida and you came from Florida to be with us today.
that's just where I live in the winter. It's really not a
really?
vacation.
So thank you very much.
My
And,
pleasure.
and to everyone asking, they keep going, where do we get the book? Amazon.com. Today's just the pre-order release. So you can
I pre-ordered.
your book. Melissa Francis pre-ordered the book. You can pre-order it on Amazon.com. The cover is, of course, revealed today, but it will drop on April 21st.
Congratulations. A lot of people like the cover.
Thank you, Brett.
Yeah,
on
I'd say.
the live chat. They're liking the cover. All right. We're going to wrap it up here on the web. We'll see you back on TV tomorrow at noon Eastern on Fox News Channel.